Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to yet another supremely amazing and a brand new series, episode number 1 of a do or die series for class 10 CBSE Board 2021. And today I am coming in front of you with the 2020 paper biology solving. So in today's class, this session would really a useful session for each one of you because in this session, we would be discussing almost all the questions as per your reduced syllabus that comes out of your previous year question. So we'll try to take part in all the classes with maximum strength watching the live lecture. If you have any doubts, you can comment me on the comment section, or you can text me in personal in Telegram group itself, or you can right now ask me on the chat box. Even if it is a premiere session, I am there watching your chats. So if anybody comes out with any doubts, I will tell you the answer for the question right now, right here on the chat box. So this is the ultimate series for the deathbed revision for class 10 for CBSE Board 2021. We are going to ahead of our exam, which is going to commence very soon. The date sheets would be released very soon. So let's head ourselves towards the exam with 500% from our side, putting into effort so that God will give you the result of your hard work. Yes, guys, those who are brand new to our channel, do join our Telegram group at BioOfficial 10th or at BioOfficial 10th, where we conduct regular discussion, updates on our classes, polls, quizzes, and written examination, which is one of an integral part of our Telegram group at BioOfficial 10th. The direct link to our discussion group, this is our official group link. Both the link would be provided on the description box. Okay, do join our description group also. Do join our discussion group also. The direct link to join our discussion group is provided in the description box below. So listen very carefully in that class. I'll provide you with a PDF of the question paper and the answer key for all the 3 subjects. That is the entire science paper of CBSE Board 2020 set 1 question paper. I will definitely provide you as the PDF in the group. You will get the PDF of this session in the description box after the live gets entered, or it will be directly posted in our Telegram group at BioOfficial 10. Those who are watching the session right now, show your hearts on the screen in the form of likes. Do hit the like button and share it with your friends. And those who are brand new, once again, I'm telling those who are brand new to our channel, do subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon so that you won't miss the latest updates on the classes. And do join our Telegram group at BioOfficial 10 to know more about the classes and the schedules of each day, to know more about the discussion groups, to know more about the discussion of the exams and the timetable and schedule of the written examination that we are conducting. So starting with the topic of or the discussion of this brand new series, starting with the latest previous paper, that is 2020 CBSE Board Set 1 paper. And today we are going to discuss about the 2020 biology paper. We are going to solve along with me, my students, we together are going to solve this amazing series of questions in just 20 to 30 minutes. So listen very carefully, very carefully in the class till the end. Okay, you will definitely get benefited out of this. I'm sure about it. Okay. So let's get started. So before that, give me thumbs up on the screen if everything is clear for you. My screen is clear, my audio is clear, and you are ready having the Josh in the class. Give me thumbs up on the chat box right now. Yes? Thank you so much, guys. So let's get started with question number 1. So you guys have to comment me the answers on the chat box in just 30 seconds. For multiple choice question, you will get 30 seconds, and for the other question, 1 minute time you will get. So within that time, try not to type in paragraphs. Try to send me the answers as points. Okay, don't waste your time in just typing the entire paragraphs. Just type me the answer or just communicate with me by your chats, because it's the only way by which I could communicate with you. So let's get started. Question number 1 on your screens right now. So 2020 CBSE board question, one of the question from biology, the first question from biology for set 1 paper was a multiple choice question. So comment me the answers fast on the chat box. Which one of the following statements is correct about the human circulatory system? Read everything very carefully. Is correct about human circulatory system. It's a multiple choice question. Therefore, score 1 mark. Okay, just comment me the answers on the chat box, guys, everybody. Which one of the following statement is correct about the human circulatory system? It is an MCQ question. The first question from biology part for CBSE 2020. Option A, blood transports only oxygen and not carbon dioxide. Human heart has 5 chambers. Valves ensure that blood does not flow backwards. Both oxygen rich and oxygen deficient blood gets mixed in the human heart. Yes, the answers for the correct answer for this question, I'll explain to you. The blood transports only oxygen and not carbon dioxide. It is a wrong statement, because the human blood carry both oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. Right? Human blood contains carbaminohemoglobin, carboxyhemoglobin, right? Oxyhemoglobin. So all these things are the combination products of hemoglobin with different gases. So statement number 1 is a wrong statement. So A cannot be the answer for this question. Let's move on to the second one. Human heart has 5 chambers. Human heart, according to us and according to the human beings have only 4 chambers in the heart. That is 2 atria plus 2 ventricles. Okay, 2 atria plus 2 ventricles, and they are separated in between, right? If suppose I'm drawing a rough figure of the human heart, which is tilted towards the left side, so it has 2 atria, 2 upper atria and 2 lower ventricle. This is the right atrium, this is the left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. So they are separated in between by a septum. Okay, they are separated in between by the septum. So oxygen rich blood and oxygen deficient blood will never get mixed in the heart, because they are separated by an atrioventricular septum. So the correct answer for this question is option number C. Valves ensure that the blood does not flow backward. Ensure that the valves ensure that the blood does not flow backwards. So listen very carefully right now on the screen. Guys, in a human heart, okay, human heart, you will have 4 chambers, right? I already explained to you with the same diagram a few minutes ago. So they have valves in between. Okay, I already told you the blood will not get mixed because there is an atrioventricular septum. Just like that, the blood inside the right atrium would not get mixed with the blood inside the right ventricle because of the presence of valves. Okay, the valve present on the right side of the heart, that is the valve present between the right atrium and the right ventricle, you will call it as right tri. Okay, you will call it as the right side of the heart contains the tricuspid valve, and the left side of the heart contains what? bicuspid or mitral valve. Okay, bicuspid or the mitral valve. Okay, these are the name of the valves. Just have a look at this, because if this comes as a question, you have to write. So these two are the tricuspid valve, and these two are the bicuspid valve or the mitral valve present on the left side. So tri belongs to right side and bi belongs to the left side of the heart. So this is the correct answer for the question. If you write the answer as option C along with the statement, you would get absolute marks. That's 1 score out of 1. Second question on your screens. Anaerobic process. Option A takes place in yeast during fermentation. Option B takes place in the presence of oxygen. Option C produces only energy in the muscles of human beings. And D produces ethanol, oxygen, and energy. 1 mark question, multiple choice question. Anaerobic process takes place in yeast during fermentation, takes place in the presence of oxygen, produces only energy in the muscles of human beings, produces ethanol, oxygen, and energy. Yes, I hope you have commented down your answer. I'm watching out your chats over there. If it is correct, I would have said good on the chat box by this time. If anybody have answered for this question. Okay, since this session is a pre-recorded one, I could not see whether anybody is there for the live or not. That's why I am telling this. So the correct answer for this question is option number A, takes place in yeast during fermentation. So anaerobic respiration means it is a type of respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen. So here the correct answer matches with anaerobic process takes place in yeast during fermentation, alcohol fermentation, all these things of anaerobic process. Question number 3, again 1 mark question. Most of the digestion and absorption of food takes place in 1 mark question. Option A, small intestine. Option B, liver. Option C, stomach. Option D, large intestine. Multiple choice question from CBSE Board 2020 paper. Okay, CBSE Board 2020 paper question. Most of the digestion and absorption of food takes place in small intestine, liver, stomach, large intestine. Your answers on the chat box. Yes, guys, the correct answer for this question is option A, small intestine. You know very well that most of the digestion, that is almost all the process of digestion and absorption, would be ended up by the small intestine, and in the large intestine only absorption of certain drugs and water takes place. But when the food reaches the small intestine, almost all the digestive glands and digestive juices produced by the digestive glands might have acted upon that, and almost all the process, nearly 90 to 95% of almost all the digestive process are already over, and it might have already started the process or entered the process of absorption. So the correct answer for the question is option number A, small intestine is the area where most of the digestion and absorption of food takes place. Next question, again a multiple choice question, last and final multiple choice question, after which you have an assertion reason question also from biology part with me 2020 CBSE paper. Always in my mouth, NEET is coming because I have already been taking the classes for NEET batch. So it's a long time back I took the classes for class 10. Okay, I think almost it crossed 3 to 4 months. I have took a lecture for you guys. That's why I forgot about all the things. So always NEET is coming to the mind because each and every day we are going with a live of NEET batch. Yes, back to the session. Fertilization is the process of 1 mark question. Transfer of male gametes to the female gametes. Fusion of nuclei of male and female gametes. Adhesion of male and female reproductive organ. the formation of gametes by a reproductive organ. So fertilization is the process of transfer of male gamete to the female gamete, fusion of nuclei of male and female gamete, adhesion of male and female reproductive organ, the formation of gametes by a reproductive organ. You know that what is fertilization? Fertilization means it is a fusion of the female gamete along with the male gamete, which is the sperms, right? So fusion of the male nuclei, that is a sperm nuclei with the egg nuclei, results in the production of a single-celled zygote. Okay, fusion of the male and female gamete nucleus results in the formation of zygote. So the correct answer for the question is option B, fusion of nuclei of male and female gametes. Clear? Let's move on to the next question. Yes, one more question was there. Food web is constituted by, very easy question. So by this itself, you will be able to know how simple your question will be for this year amidst this pandemic situation, how they will set the question. Sometimes it would be an easy part. Most probably expect the question to be an easy part way. Okay, because almost all the schools are getting difficulty. Most of the students getting the internet facility, but there are certain areas where there are no facilities available for online classes. So for such students also have to score good for the exam. So question will be set out by discussing all these matter which each and every people of the state. Okay, with the stakeholders, they will finally decide a date for that. So food web is constituted by relation between the organism and the environment, relation between plants and animals, various interlinked food chains in an ecosystem, relationship between animals and animals and environment. Food web. There are two things, food chain and food web. I'm asking right now, the question is all about food web. So the correct answer for the question is option C. Food web is constituted by various interlinked food chains in an ecosystem. For example, I will give you a simple food chain, the example of a food chain. Grass eaten by grasshopper. The grasshopper is eaten by the frog. Frog is eaten by the snake. The snake is eaten by the eagle. So this is an example of a simple food chain. Okay, what I written right now is not a food web, it is a food chain. Food web means it is a various interlinked food chains in an ecosystem. For example, the grass can also be eaten out by deer. The grass can also be fed upon by cow. Okay, so the deer can be eaten up by lion. The cow can be eaten up by a lion. So different interconnected food chains are there. So all these various interlinked food chains in an ecosystem constitutes what? A food web. Next question. Yes. Choose the incorrect statement from the following. Choose the incorrect statement from the following. I just made a slight difference from the 2020 paper. After this session, after this question, I'll tell you what was the change I made in this question and what was the actual question for your boards. Choose the incorrect statement from the following. Again, a multiple choice question for score 1. Ozone is a molecule formed by 3 atoms of oxygen. Is it a correct or a wrong statement on the chat box? Ozone is a molecule formed by 3 atoms of oxygen. Absolutely right. So if this is an oxygen atom, 3 atoms of oxygen together constitute to have what? An O3 molecule, which you will call it as to be an ozone. So statement A is a correct one. Ozone shields the surface of the earth from ultraviolet radiation. It is again a correct statement. Ozone gets decomposed by UV radiation. You already studied that O3 would split up By the action, it will split up into O2 plus oxygen, nascent oxygen or free oxygen. All these things you have already studied. So the correct answer for the question is oxygen is not a deadly poisonous gas. Ozone is a deadly poisonous gas. Ozone, if inhaled too much, will definitely causes harm to us because it is really poisonous in nature. I'll tell you now what was the actual question for your CBSE 2020 board examination. The question was ozone is a deadly poison. Okay, this was actually the question. Okay, this was actually the question over there. Just let me erase it. Okay, listen everybody. So this was the actual question for your CBSE board examination. That is, they haven't mentioned about any option. And finally, when the answer key was published for the teachers, in that it was written that when I issue you the PDF of this particular year paper, you will came to know that the answer sheet or the answer key contains a particular sentence. A bonus mark should be given to all the students because all the 4 options are correct statement. All the 4 options are correct. That is, there is no incorrect statement among the given sentences. So give the full marks, that is 1 mark for this question, those who have answered the question. Okay, those who have attended the question or not, you have to give them the whole 1 mark because it is a wrong question and a bonus mark was awarded for those students. Clear? So this was the question. Let's move on to the next question. Yes, a blank slide. Let's move on. Yes, an assertion reason question. Next is an assertion reason question. So let me read out the assertion and the reason for you guys, those who are not able to see out the screen clearly. So the assertion, the sex of a child in human being will be determined by the type of chromosome he or she inherits from the father. Reason, a child who inherits an X chromosome from his father would be a girl, XX, while a child who inherits a Y chromosome from the father would be a boy, XY. Both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. Assertion is true, but reason is false. Both assertion is false, but reason is true. Okay, so let's discuss the answer for the question. Look out the question, everybody. Look out the question. So the question over here, the sex of a child in human beings will be determined by the type of chromosome he or she inherits from the father. We have, it is a frequently repeated previous year question. It is a frequently repeated previous year question. We already know that the sex of a child depends upon the chromosome inherited by the father. So I'll help you with a Punnett square now. So the correct answer is option A. Both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion also. We take out the blank slide. Yes, everybody. Look it out. Yes. Suppose father containing the chromosome XY. Father has the chromosome XY. When during the production of a child, what happens? Mother have the chromosome XX. So what are the gametes over here in this case? You have 2 set of gametes, that is a sperm containing X chromosome and a sperm containing Y chromosome. But in case of mother, at any time, whatever by whichever ovary the egg is produced, it will always contain the X chromosome only. So let's have a Punnett square to discuss in detail about what was the reason. So father contains XY chromosome and mother contains XX part. So XX, it determines the girl child. XY, it determines the boy child because Y chromosome is present in the father. Next again, XX girl child, XY boy child. So girl, boy, boy, girl. Okay, so the two boys or the two girls, so the sex of a child depends upon the chromosome that he inherits from the father, or he or she inherits from the father and not from the mother. Okay, in certain parts right now also there are certain family who doesn't want a girl child but they wanted a boy child. When a girl child is born, they will definitely blame the mother only for giving birth to a girl child instead of a boy. But the thing is that they lack a bit education. Okay, these are actually the things believed by those people living in the rural, that is in the village areas, right from those who belonging to the old age period and all those things. That is very back. Okay, very back. You will have the certain uh, people like this. But the correct reason, or a science student must understand that they are not going to blame the mother. It's because of the problem from the father. It's not a problem. Whatever be the child, be male or female, both they have similar properties, similar things happening to both of them. So it doesn't make any kinds of difference. So it's actually depending upon the father's chromosome or the father's sperm, which results in the formation of a girl child or a boy child. Is it clear? Yes? Give me hearts on the screen if it's clear for each one of you. So the correct answer for the question is option A. Both assertion and reason are true and R is the correct explanation of the reason. So this marks the end of our 1 mark question. We are moving on to 5 mark question. There were no 2 mark questions and 3 marks question from our reduced syllabus. Okay, there were questions, but the questions belongs to the chapter Control and Coordination, that is the second chapter, endocrine glands and all those things. So this was the next question, a 5 marks question from the chapter Life Process. So let's discuss one by one. Give me the answer for the first question. Why is nutrition necessary for human body? Why is nutrition necessary for human body, guys? Why is nutrition? Is nutrition such an importance to us? Why is it so? Why is nutrition and nutrients important to us? Why we are always asked to take out a balanced diet? Just comment me the answer by one point on the chat box. I can tell you nutrition can help in the growth. Am I right? 1 point you can write nutrition can, or nutrition is necessary for the growth and development. It can help in the growth and development of an organism. It can contribute to the repair of worn out tissues and all those things, right? So there are different areas where you will find the nutrition necessary for the human body. So actually this particular 5 mark is divided among these questions. As such, I'll tell you 2 marks for this question for writing 2 points. At that particular time, the teachers were awarded the answer key like this. 1 mark for the second part, 1 mark for the third part of the question, and 1 mark for the fourth part of the question. So you have to write as per the marks, or if it exceeds the word limit also, there cannot be any problem. But if you are writing it as in a paragraph or anything, just underline the important point that you know that this is the answer for the question. Suppose for the first question, you would be writing, why is nutrition necessary for human body? So most of the students would make into a bigger answer. They will start writing from nutrition is necessary for the human body because of the following reasons. Then they would give out the reasons as in a paragraph. So those who are writing like that, I'm not telling that such students will lose mark. No, they will also get the marks. But sometimes if it exceeds the word limit, it depends upon the teachers. Okay, so try to write up to the point, or if you're writing this in a paragraph also, just underline the answer to the question. Okay, just underline the point of the question which comes as the answer. Second question, so that is the answer for the first part of the question. It can help in growth, development, repair of worn out tissues, then about growth of new parts, about all those things it can help. Second part of the question, what causes the movement of food inside the alimentary canal? What causes the movement of food inside the alimentary canal? There are different structures that helps in the movement of food, and one of the most important reason for the movement of food inside the alimentary canal is the wave-like movement. The rhythmic contraction and relaxation peristalsis helps in the movement of food inside the alimentary canal. And also the mucus and all secreted, the mucus, cilia, all these things present inside the alimentary canal also helps in the transport of food. So if you write an answer up to the point, you would get 1 mark over here. I will give you the answer key where on which point the examiners were advised to give the marks for the students. Okay. Third question, why is small intestine in herbivores longer than in carnivores? Why is small intestine in herbivores longer than in carnivores? Because in small intestine of herbivores, because the herbivores have to digest a lot of plant material containing cellulose. Right? They have to digest a huge material of cellulose. The digestive part mainly includes the digestion of cellulose, right? So for the digestion of cellulose, it takes a longer period of time. That is why the small intestine of the herbivores is longer than the carnivores. Let's move on to the last part of the question. What will happen if the mucus is not secreted by the gastric gland? What happens? Let's check out the answer for each of this question as per the answer key itself. So first question, what was the first question? Why is nutrition necessary for the movement of, why is nutrition necessary for the human body? So the answer key 1 plus 1 mark for each point. So you have to write any 2 points. For providing energy for various metabolic process, 1 point. It can be first point you can write. Formation of new cells and new parts, second point. Repair of damaged or worn out tissue, point number 3. Developing resistance against diseases, point number 4. Growth and development of the body, point number 5. So any of these points would fetch you 1 plus 1, 2 marks. So at that particular point of view, you have to write only 2 points and you will be awarded 2 marks for this thing. Okay. Let's move on to the question number 2. What causes the movement of food inside the alimentary canal? Peristaltic movement, or you have to write peristalsis, or you have to write rhythmic contraction and relaxation of muscles in the lining of alimentary canal. But right to the point, write peristaltic movement or peristalsis instead of wasting your time in writing a sentence. And if you find time that you would be able to complete the answer for the question paper, you can write the definition for peristalsis also. It would make a good impression in the minds of the examiners. Okay. Third question. Why is small intestine in herbivores longer than the carnivores? Herbivores is plant matter, which is rich in cellulose and takes a longer time. If you write these 3 points, you would get 1 mark. That is, they are rich in cellulose, their products are rich in cellulose, and it takes a longer time to digest. That is why the herbivores are having a longer small intestine. Half plus half, you will get 1 mark. Okay. Last part of the question, what will happen if mucus is not secreted? As we have already discussed that the inner lining of the stomach will not be protected from the action of the hydrochloric acid. Okay. If mucus is secreted, we all know that stomach is a J-shaped organ, right? Stomach. So if mucus actually lines this cavity. Okay, mucus actually lines the stomach cavity. Since HCl is produced inside the stomach, it has to prevent from digesting the walls of the intestine and the stomach, right? So mucus is secreted. So if mucus is not secreted, what happens? The walls of the intestine and the stomach will not be protected by the action of HCl. Next question, again a 5-mark question. Okay, this is again a 5-mark question from your paper. Draw a neat diagram showing fertilization in a flower and label pollen tube, male germ cell and the female germ cell on it. Okay. So when you draw the diagram showing the fertilization in a flower, the diagram you will get 1.5 mark. If the diagram is drawn very neatly with the help of pencil, without using pen, for labeling also no pen is allowed, then no color pens, no sketch pens, crayons, nothing is allowed. I find most of the time, I find most of you without having an idea about it, you will all draw with the help of pen. So from next time onwards, from the next exam onwards, also drawing the diagram with the pen, I am not going to give you the marks. Or you have to understand, you have to keep it in point when you write the board exam. Please do not draw the diagram with a pen. Always carry a pencil, a razor and a sharpener and a scale for all these science subjects as well as for all these subjects. Just buy all these things and take it to the examination hall always. Especially talking about the diagram to the boys. Especially to the boys, most of the boys will take these diagrams very silly. That is, they will draw it very roughly with the help of a pencil and all, pen and all. Certain girls also. Next part is for the girls. So boys, please be careful. You draw the diagrams with the pencil for the examination and you label it very neatly. You write the answer sheet and present the answer sheet in a very neat and a tidy manner so that it will give an attraction to the examiner to value your paper. Okay. Second thing to the girls. Okay. To the girls, especially who comes on the top position, on an average position and all. Please don't make your diagram vulgar by drawing on it. Okay. By coloring it. Okay, or by shading it or by coloring it with crayons, watercolor. In last exam and all, there were certain students who drawn the diagram with the help of watercolors and all. They have painted even the excretory system and all, they painted it. Amoeba's diagram and all, they painted it with the help of crayons, water crayons and all. So please don't do that. Pencil is only necessary for drawing a diagram. It's labeling. So here for this diagram, they have asked you to label only 3 parts. So you will get half mark if you label pollen tube, half mark male germ cell, half mark female germ cell. Please don't label any other parts and make the examiner confused with the whole labeling. In the last exam also, I saw many of you when I asked you to label these and these parts, you have drawn the diagram of the entire thing and you have labeled all the parts that you know the name on. If you know the name of all the parts, you will label all the parts over there without reading or without looking at what is mentioned in the question. So actually at that particular point of time, they know that you know all these parts correctly, you know how to draw, how to label everything. But it would actually create a confusion for the examiner. And finally, they will just give you and reduce your half mark and they will go. That each half mark is very important. Okay, so whatever is therefore asked you to label in the diagram, in the question paper, you label it. So let's have the answer for the question. So you will get 1.5 mark for labeling, 1.5 mark for diagram. This is the diagram for the question, very important. This is the male germ cell. This is the pollen tube. This is the female germ cell. And one more thing, they have put a particular number as A, B, C, right? So those who are aiming to score the full marks, all my students over here must write the answer in a perfect manner. So label A, pollen tube, B, male germ cells, C, female germ cell. There is nothing for us to lose over here. Okay, suppose in their answer key, they would be given a diagram like this and they would be given a labeling like this, A, B, C. So they won't be having the time because at each day they have to correct more than 16 to 17 paper. So at that time they won't be getting time to go back to the question paper to see what is A, what is B, what is C. If A, B, C are given in the diagram, they would give 4 marks for those students who wrote it A, B, C. Okay, they won't be going back to the question. Certain teachers only I'm telling, I'm not talking about the whole. Or the examiners who values your paper, I'm not telling. For example, if a person from Bihar would correct the paper in such a way that in the morning when he or she comes for correcting the valuation center, his mind is very dull and upset. That is, he was having some family issues in the morning. He had a quarrel with his children and his wife, and he left the home because he have to be on time to the examination or the evaluation center. So at that particular time, his mind will be desperate, right? His mind will not be in a mood to correct and value your paper. So as soon as he values each one of your paper, what happens? When he reads out the first one, it will be a wrong. When he reads out the second one, it will be again a wrong answer. But that two question were two things which you don't know. But all the rest of the question, you were absolutely perfect with the answers. But when he reads the third one, he would be having a mindset that this student is not a brilliant one. So let him have an average marks fully. So he will give, without reading also, he will give half mark like this. Okay, so first of all, have the presentation skill, which I find in some of your papers very. So a very good applause, a great applause to such students who perfectly presents me the answer, even though it is a test conducted in a Telegram group. They are taking it very seriously. Most of you guys are taking it very seriously. Okay, even I think sometime if I was in your place, I would be reluctant at some time to give the exam. Okay, but you guys definitely really wanted it, so you guys will find the time for that, and you guys will present me the answer. Certain students paper, I'm not sharing the paper for you because sometimes it might, there are two reasons. One, some other students, that is the other students who are aiming for the top position, when I share the paper, who have written the perfectly well answer, they will be feeling a jealousy towards them. They will pray for the other student to lose. I'm not talking about everybody, okay? I'm talking about some students. And the other thing is that when I share the paper, the person's paper, the whom paper I shared in the group, that person would feel overconfident that, oh, my paper is perfect. So every time when I write, my paper is to be perfect. It isn't. So I don't want to create any such kinds of intrusions into your mind or interruptions in your mind in your ways of preparation. So try to write all the tests by using all these points which I am telling you. So the second part of the question, explain the process of fertilization in a flower. So you will have 1 mark question, that is half mark plus half mark. Half plus half. The process of fertilization, this was the answer key. Pollen tube is formed from the pollen grain and the fusion of the male and female germ cells to form zygote. Okay, you might, I know most of you will write it in as a paragraph itself. So these two are the points where you will get half mark. If you have written a point about pollen tube, you will get half mark. If you have written a point about the formation of zygote, you will get another 1/2 mark, and you will have a score of 1. Guys, do you know how your papers are evaluated? How your papers are evaluated? Wait, I'll show you. Suppose this is the paper of a student. Okay, I am a valuing examiner. So I will be just valuing the paper like the process of fertilization, pollen tube is formed. So I notice the term pollen tube because it is a word given in my answer key. So at this particular point itself, they would give half mark like this. Encircle the half marks inside it. Then fusion of male and female gametes to form a zygote. Okay, zygote, the second point is also there, zygote. Okay, so they will put the half mark at the particular word which have mentioned in the answer key. And by the side of the paper, they will write half plus half, 1 mark. Half plus half, 1 mark. Exactly like this, they are valuing your paper. Okay, so chances of error will be minute, but depending upon their mindset, it may change. It may or may not change. Yes, don't waste your time. Moving on to the next question. What happens to number 1, the ovary and the ovule after fertilization? Very easy question. What happens to ovary? Ovary turns into fruit and ovule forms the seed. Ovary forms the fruits and ovule forms the seeds after fertilization. So ovary changes into fruit, carries half mark. Ovule changes into seed, carries half mark again. So a total of 5 marks. 3 marks for the diagram, 1.5 for labeling, 1.5 for the diagram, 1 mark for the next part of the question, and 1 mark for the next part of the question. Okay. Next question, let's discuss one by one. Okay, one by one, let's discuss. First part of the question, what is puberty? What is puberty? Okay, what is puberty? Let's have the answer for the question. The period during adolescence is called puberty, age of males and females at which the reproductive organs become functional. So the period during adolescence in which the reproductive system of the male and the female matures to form functional is called puberty. 1 mark for one question, one easy question directly from your textbook, right? Second part of the question. So 1 mark is there for you. Okay. Next part. Describe in brief. Okay. Don't go for paragraph with diagrammatic explanation. We don't have time. Okay. Describe in brief the function of the following parts. First one, testis, seminal vesicle, vas deferens, urethra. So for all these, you will have half mark, half into 4 parts, you will get 2 marks. Okay, let's discuss. Testis, what is the function? Production of sperm, half mark. Secretion of male sex hormone, testosterone, half mark. Clear? So either if you can write either this point or you can write this point, you will get a half mark for the same. Second, seminal vesicle. It secretes a fluid which makes the transport of sperms easier, or it secretes a fluid that gives nutrition to the sperms, half mark. So what is the function of testis? Production of sperms, or you can write it helps in the formation of or production of human sex, male sex hormone, that is testosterone. Second one about the seminal vesicle, it secretes a fluid which gives nutrition to the developing sperms, or it helps in the transport of sperms easier. Third part, vas deferens. It carries the sperm to the seminal vesicle, half mark, easy one. Last one, urethra, it forms a common passage for sperms and urine, so half mark of the question. Clear? So half into 4, you will get 2 marks. Next part of the question, why are testes located outside the abdominal cavity? I'm giving you a guaranteed question for 2021. This might be a question. Testis is always located outside the human body. Why? Because the sperm formation requires a lower temperature than the normal body temperature, which is provided in the sac-like structure that is called scrotum. Okay, scrotum. So because the sperm formation requires a lower temperature than the normal body temperature. Last and the final question. State how sperms move towards the female germ cell. We know that the egg or ovum, this is the ovum or the egg, it is non-motile. Right? It is non-motile or stationary. And we also know that these sperms, okay, the sperms are always motile. Why? Because they have the whip-like movement of the tail part. Okay, so the answer key, with the help of a long tail, you will get 1 mark for that. Clear? So that's all about the part of 2020 biology paper solving part. So we have already discussed about all the parts in detail about each one of them. That is about the valves we have discussed, right? Then the anaerobic process takes place in yeast during fermentation. Most of the digestion and absorption takes place in the small intestine. Fertilization is the fusion of nuclei of the male and female gametes. Food web is an interconnected food chains in an ecosystem. Ozone molecule is not a deadly poisonous gas. Ozone molecule is a poisonous gas. Okay. Then the assertion reason question I explained you with the help of flowchart also. That is, the chromosome inherited from the father determines the sex of the newborn baby. Nutrition is essential for providing metabolic activities and all. Oh my God. 1 second. Yes. Right, pollen tube. I hope you have got what the answer key demands for. So guys, bye bye, take care. In the next class you would have some more important questions from one more next 1 year question. Okay, so I want each one of you to do one thing for me. Each one of you have to do one thing for me. All of you watching the session or watching the recorded session have to comment me. Okay, comment me in the comment box. Okay, not on the chat box, in the comment box after the live gets ended, about how was the session. Okay, I'll check how many of you really expressed your love and gratitude towards BioPoints. So how was the session? What change you need? Okay, how was the session? What change do you need? And all those things. Is it really useful? Is it useful or just a waste of time? All these things you have to comment me on the comment section. So that's all about today's session. Bye bye guys. See you in the next class with yet another question paper discussion. Bye bye.